Hi there, it's Dennis at orangequant.com. I got something juicy for you today. It is free. I'm not selling anything here today. So stay tuned. But first, before I do anything else, let's see that disclaimer. Now please just pause the video and read the disclaimer carefully. Thank you very much. And now let's move on. Alright, this is going to be a short video, hopefully. But what I'd like you to do first is just look at this chart and tell me what you see. Tell me what this is. And tick, 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 tick. Okay, you probably guessed it's some kind of Fibonacci, except it's a Fibonacci like you've never seen before. And you'll notice, instead of it just being straight lines projected outward, these are actually changing over time. And that's what this video is about. Now, as a lot of you know who use Fibonacci retracements, as I say, those lines just go straight out. And after a while, you have to reset the Fibonacci. You have to draw it again, okay? And I thought that was a bit of a nuisance. And so what I did was I coded Fibonacci. And what came out was this. So this changes over time. But there's a critical point here, and I'll explain. Okay, when you draw a Fibonacci, you typically pick a swing high and a swing low, and that's how you draw it. Well, what this is a self-adjusting Fibonacci. So it looks back over a specified period of time for the highest high and the highest low, and then computes the Fibonacci ratios from there. Now, in the code that I provide for free, there are input parameters, and one of these is you can decide how far a look back you want. In this case, I use a 144. The other one that I use sometimes is 89, and I have a specific reason for using those two. And if you look at a basic Fibonacci sequence, you can kind of see why I select those two numbers. But you're welcome to experiment with a longer or shorter look back than 144. That'd be entirely up to you, of course. Now, I thought, well, gee, probably somebody has already done this before someplace. So after I wrote it up and everything, I went searching for it on the web, and I can't find anybody who does a self-adjusting Fibonacci retracement. But it does work quite well, as you can see. You can see it, I don't know if I'm outside the box here. Okay, you can see it came down, it bounced off of there, came up, penetrated the 382, and because of that, it penetrated the next intermediate Fibo and ran on up to the 618, which is, you know, these are over here, they're marked over there. And then bounced off that 618, came on down, penetrated again, hesitated for a couple of bars, and then crashed on down, and so on. You can see that this does work. Now there's something very peculiar about this also, and I'm going to show you what that is. See these where the Fibo lines start to break up and act a little crazy? Well, that's a very interesting thing. You would think that somehow that's related to the current price, but it's only related to the current price in the sense that you're getting a new low or a new high that's a lower high that's higher than or lower than your previous 144 bars. And this works pretty much on any time frame I've looked at, so you'll have to experiment and be sure. But it's just 144 bars. But this breakup in the lines doesn't always happen. As you can see, if you look at the chart, you can tell this. It doesn't always happen when you reach a new low or a new high necessarily. So that's the puzzle for me here. It's a kind of a math puzzle, or maybe it's some other kind of puzzle. But it's as if Mr. Fibonacci doesn't care what Mrs. Market is doing, you would think, because Mr. Fibonacci has been set up way back 100, in the last 144 bars. But somehow Mr. Fibonacci anticipates all that and adjusts the lines accordingly. I'll show you what I mean. Let's slide this back to 144 bars from this last bar here, okay? Alright, I start sliding, and you can pause this any time to see just how well this is working. And sliding, and now we're back to this white line here is 144 bars from the current bar. So in this space, this span, we can see that where the high and the low were, the highest high and the highest low. Okay, we can make it out, and it turns out, well, let's see, I don't have the whole chart in front of you. Well, let me see something here. Okay, right here and right here are the swing lows and swing highs, or it might have been this one back here. Doesn't matter. That's where the swing low and swing highs were, and they don't change actually from that until you get way over here. Okay, and now you've got something where it breaks down lower than that low, for example. Alright? That being the case, why is it that right here, in this space right here, the Fibos start dropping? They start acting crazy. And for me, it's like a signal that we're going to get some lower lows out of this. So why should that happen? There hasn't been a change in the swing low, and yet the Fibo is reacting, looking back over the last 144 bars and saying it's time for this to happen. Anyway, I just thought I'd share this with you, and you're free to use it. I will provide the code in a link below, but let me show you the code. Okay, first of all, at this first line is the input span, and there's a secondary input span. You won't be concerned with that. That was because I also had written code for it to run backwards. In other words, instead of starting my Fibo plot at the swing high and down to the swing low, I reversed it and went from the swing low to the swing high. But that's just an extra piece of code there, the input span. Then you have your list of Fibos here, and those are your inputs, and you can change those if you want. Then we have a definition of what the highest bar is across the span. Okay, the span is 144, and it wants the highest high in 144 bars, and similarly the lowest low in 144 bars. Next line plots the low, which I could have put in here up at the inputs on the fibs as a 0, but I forgot to do it, so I've added it later that way. And when you look at these, it sets the color, sets the line weight. This is all, by the way, on TD Ameritrade's Think or Swim platform. Think or Swim platform, and this is called Think Script. But if you study this and you're able to write code for some other platform, then this should be a piece of cake to do. Okay, then I say, what's the difference between the swing high in the 144 bar period and the swing low of the 144 bar period? Alright, then we kind of scroll down a little further, and what it is we plot the first Fibonacci. We use this differential here that we've defined, and we say the low plus the first Fibonacci times the difference between the swing high and swing low, and each one is calculated similarly. And then we set line weights and colors, oops, didn't mean to do that. Anyway, at a certain point down here, which you cannot see, I'm very sorry to say, oh no, wait, I can make you see it. There we go. Okay, those numbers that show the 382 and the 618, that's how I get those with a chart bubble. So, if you have any issues about loading it onto thinkorswim, if you've never loaded code on thinkorswim, just drop me a note at my website and I'll send you a little thing that explains how to do that. No problem at all. There is one other thing I'd like to mention quickly, and that is that, and I don't work for thinkorswim or TD Ameritrade. We have no relationship. They don't endorse what I do. I don't endorse what they do. I'm just saying, if you want to use the code on that platform, right now, as far as I know, there's no minimum to open a demo account. Of course, you don't need any money to open a demo account. And if you want a live account, you can open a live account. The last time I checked, there was no minimum to open that. So that's important. The other thing is that if you open a live account, you're able to use their scanner, which can become very important to you. Whereas with a demo, the last time I checked, you cannot use the scanner with the demo. You can load code, but not use the scanner, okay? So, that's my offering, and like I say, down in the notes below, I'll put the link to a text file for the code, okay? Have a good one, and good luck trading.